In this series of videos, I'm going to offer my perspective on some topics that pertain to the Second Amendment, guns, our community, the industry, and our history. I'm calling it Mansplaining 2A. Here we go.
What about having a bit of a rally at a gun show? Because that gets in a lot of the casual firearms owners that may just be oblivious that there are rallies. Again, like so many
The
other
actual
things.
answer is it just depends on the part of the country, the time of year, because a reactionary thing is going to have a different vibe than proactive or whatever the word is.
Yeah.
To just do it, right? The different people are going to show up out of nowhere versus like in response to. When we have our rallies in February in Arizona, our rallies are in February usually, maybe March. I'm trying to remember. I think they're February. But anyway, well, it's debatable, but I've asked them to have the police snipers who sit on top of the building take pictures of us so that we can know, or at least give us pictures that they're taking so that we would know how many people are there, but they always just estimate. The biggest estimate I've heard is like 1,000, I think. Let's say 4,000, and it's not. I think it's hundreds, less than 500, but whatever. There's different, and I'm not here to complain, but let's just say in scale, the most I've ever heard is like thousands, but it's probably less than 1,000. The time that we went there for the anti-gun rally, the only anti-gun rally that I'm aware of that's ever happened in the state of Arizona was, I want to say 2018 or 19 now. It was definitely in the heyday of gun channels, and it was in the middle of Trump. And it had 18,000 people showed up, and they marched in a kind of a circle. Phoenix is sort of a little grid, so they kind of, and it's big. It's all sprawl, so there's plenty of room in Phoenix for them to do this. They walked kind of, I don't know how they started because I was only at one point, right? But they kind of came towards us from somewhere, blocks and blocks, like a mile away, and then walked past us like maybe a half a mile, a couple of blocks, went up a block and came back. So they made a big U, and we were right in the middle of this U, a block or whatever. So we got to see them start and come towards us, just come past us. 18,000 people walking past us took a while, and they're just completely blitz, upset, yelling and screaming as they come towards us a mile or so, I'm guessing, into their parade. They go around this thing, which is adding another half a mile, some amount of time to their thing, and then we just walked a half a block down and then saw them coming down the other way, right? We were in the middle of this U, so we just went from one side to the other. We're still seeing the tail end of the thing go by the other way in full stream, like just as many tons of people walking all the way across the street, and then the thing starts coming back the other way. So enough people to stretch like a mile and just packing 5 or 6 or however many lanes of traffic, right? It would be in a big city ground level street. And we got video of it out there. I could probably find it if I had to. But anyway, this kept going and going and going and going and going. And it finally went past us to the Capitol where we have our 2A rallies, except that it filled just the entire area with humans. It was just nuts how many people were there. And I have no idea what happened because it was soon after that we left. But we were amazed just to witness it or whatever. And as we were walking away from it, we noticed this kid was standing there with like a cardboard thing with like a sign that said, "Guns aren't the problem, change my mind," or something like that. And he seemed like a normal, like maybe a high school kid. Like he just seemed like a kid who wasn't like pro this or anti that. He was just trying to be a kid who's, trying to be a politician or something. Maybe is, just a kid, but being honest or whatever, I think authentic. And he had one person there, and we came up and we're watching. We had one person there, and if I remember this a long time ago already, but then the second person really started laying into the kid, and that's when we all felt like we had to help defend this kid because he was getting just yelled at by this old guy or an older guy. And we all did poorly at trying to defend ourselves. But what we did learn in that, that was our interaction with somebody from the crowd, because otherwise we had just been observing. And then a couple of people would, as we were having this interaction with the individual who was talking to the kid, some other people came up and we had maybe a little bit of interaction with them, but we could definitely tell from that amount of interaction that those people were there to hate Trump, and guns was the flavor. Like they were there to eat tacos and they were pork tacos, but they were there to eat tacos, right? They were there to hate Trump and it just happened to be gun flavored. If it was Save the Earth flavored that day, they would have hated Trump and it was the Earth's fault. Or they would have hated Trump and it was media's fault. Whatever the flavor of the day, they would have still been there in 18,000 strong. And that's where, I don't know, I was just going to use that as an example that, like, you know, if we had that for pro-gun, that was a long-ass way of saying if we had 18,000 people show up just to be pro-gun because they love Trump, then we don't have anybody there who's pro-gun. Does that make sense? Am I saying that? Like, I'm probably going to piss people off, but, you know, saying that's not, I don't think that's what we would want. I would rather see some other version of getting 18,000 people there to be pro-gun than just something that at this point would bring that kind of people to a parade or a rally.
Draw more people that are there for the purpose rather than those who want to detract from it. I'm absolutely with you there. I would love.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, using it as their flavor of the day, but they're really there because they hate the other side, or they so much they want this for free, or they, yeah, whatever. You know, they want their business to be better, or whatever the personal interest is. Yeah. But I don't know. You don't create that. Oh, I think you can create the situations and see how it flies or whatever, but I don't think you can. Shit, if there's a recipe to attract a bunch of people to show up to something, that would be happening every weekend, right? I thought you were going to say something like, how do you do that? Maybe do it at like a concert, was what I was thinking, is have, you know, like if they have a thing that, trying to think of something, I don't really pay attention, but if there's some cause, one of the ways people will bring attention to it is to have a bunch of celebrity musicians show up and have a concert about that cause. So where have we seen a 2A one ever?
Yeah. Well, and also social and political concerns at concerts, voter registration. I've seen that at concerts. You know, Motor Voter was a youth-based thing, and the youth market and their contribution to the economy as well as the future, you link those two things together, and that's a great idea. Be it, you know, I've also like Greenpeace, the Water Wheel, all kinds of different foundations that, depending on the band, go right along with the politics of the general fans. So it's predictable, and it's not a bad thing at all. I see the positive there and the potential for it. It's a good idea.
So let us know what you think. We'll be watching the comments wherever you find the video, over on gunstreamer.com or on guntube.org. Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourages you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching gunwebsites.com.